Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Nate the Lawyer. Let me just fix my mic stand. It seems to be acting up on me already. All right. Those of you who are new here, my name is Nate the Lawyer. Welcome to Saturday night special. I usually don't do these things on Saturday because I'm usually playing with the kids. Or I'm usually tired from like a big day because, Saturday's like the day where you guys get to go somewhere. The kids usually got school during the week. So it's usually our day to go do something together. And usually I'm so tired in the evening, but today was actually a pretty nice day. So I'm seeing who's in the chat. Oh, here we go. Spatter, it's Spatter. I'm missing the conversation. I see Vandy. Hi, Vandy. Vandy, I could have swore you were a bot for like the longest time. I thought you were a bot, but this is a real person. Yo, Fabian, what's going on? Is it you drinking? No, this is like some cheap wine that my wife likes. It's like really sweet, so it's not bad. It gives mellows me out. I had some pasta a little earlier, so white wine and pasta, that type of thing. Hey, what's up, Amber? Thanks, I appreciate it. Here we go. Oh, Vandy, yes, it is. Hey, from Canada. What's up? All right. So, you know what? I'll just get right into it. It's funny because on my videos, first, I want to thank everybody who's commenting on my videos. It's the interactions are amazing. And it's interesting to see how people can see the facts and interpret the facts. And I've always had this policy of trying not to respond to comments because one of the things that Vandy says I'm not a bot. No, I was saying I know you're not a bot, Vandy, but thanks for the $5 super chat. Yeah, Vandy's not a bot. Yeah. So a lot of my videos, I try to stay politically neutral in. So like my police shooting videos, I try not to give my opinion because I try to just give be real careful with the facts. Like, here are the facts. Take them for what you will. Because if I give my opinion, then people generally try to use your political leanings or your opinion against you. Even though you have this opinion, so you must be biased coming to that conclusion. So I try really hard not to try to bias the audience with my opinion when we're going through this. And sometimes you just can't avoid it, because it's your past life or whatever. But it's interesting because I do read all the comments, and I always find it interesting how two people can be looking at the same set of facts and come to wildly different conclusions. And hopefully this will help people who leave me comments, who want to know more about what my opinion is on certain subjects, why I think, why I'm thinking. So, so the latest 3 videos, I think, were my comments get shadow banned. It's too spicy, I suppose. Yeah, I have the filters on, so maybe I got to check it out. Because I get a lot of banned comments. Yeah, people say some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Hi, Nate. Hope all is well. Sip the wine. On edge. Yes. I'm sipping some. This is pretty good wine too tonight. All right, so let's go to the first video. I already have it queued up here. Texas disaster now. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for $25 super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you thank you everybody for the support. It means the world to me. And it allows me to continue to do what I do. So thanks again. So the first video we're going to look at is the Texas disaster. And we're going to look at some comments. Now, these comments have been sanitized to protect, the innocent from anything, but these comments are still live. Now, I had to struggle with this question about whether to censor out whose comments were whose, right? There was a dilemma. And the dilemma was people are publicly commenting, right? So that means that they don't mind other people seeing their comments, and having discussions. Some people even ask me questions within the comment section. So I was just going to take the comments that the people were putting out publicly and then comment on them. But a friend of mine said, well, you shouldn't do that because the person might feel like you're outing the person, right? If you take their comments and respond to, this person said this. So it's kind of like, but I do, like I do that here with the super chats, right? I click on you, your comment is you're added, you're in the conversation now. So, I was kind of like, to me, it's almost like a super chat, right? But there's some weird thing about pulling up comments and saying this person commented and said this. I don't know why. So I don't understand the logic of it. So these comments have been censored. They're still in the comment section. You can probably easily just, control F and find whose comments they were. But that was like the moral dilemma. I know there are people for some reason that don't believe that you can take someone's comment and say, this is what they said, and I'm responding to that. I don't know. Does anyone know why is it like, a bad taste to respond to comments in the comment section? Sorry if I miss responding. Chat stopped on me. Personally, I don't think you need to cover anyone's name. These are public comments, so I don't see need to. That's what I thought. Who cares? Well, I don't know. It's, some people feel a little way about it. Hey, Laura, what's going on? I've been seeing you on Twitter. But hey, so I've cleaned the names out, so no one has to worry about it. But I think they're good points of conversation for us. Let me go into the first comment that we have on this video, Texas disaster. Now, for those of you who don't know what this video is about, before I even get into the comments, I should tell you what the video is about. So this video is about what's going on in Texas now. So what's happening in Texas now is that Texas utilities were not forced to weatherize. Simple premise. They weren't forced to weatherize their systems. Why? Because they haven't had a problem with this type of weather event in like the past 100 years, right? This is a once in a generation event. So you don't plan, it's simply put, like you don't plan for floods in the desert, right? Once in every 100 years. So Texas recently had that once in a 100-year event, right? That's the reason why the power grid is failing. And that once in a 100-year event, the issue is that most of their equipment wasn't weatherized because generally they don't need it. But unfortunately, that led to this massive problem in Texas. So just so we're all clear, Texas's issue was with wind turbines, it was with natural gas, it was all these other things. But Texas's issue wasn't any individual piece of it failing. It was the fact that the system wasn't weatherized. So, pipes froze, this froze, that froze, turbines froze. It was a system-wide failure. Now, there are changes that are going to be made in Texas because of the failure. But so we're all clear. This was a once-in-a-lifetime event on one end, and this once-in-a-lifetime event caused these systems to literally freeze and stop working. That's what caused the power outages. So that's what this video is about, and that's what you're going to see some of the complaints, some of the people who are agreeing with me about some of the things I said in the video. So, thank you, Michael. Michael says, "Hope everything is going great for you." Thank Michael. Yeah, it is. That's why I'm able to be here tonight, screaming into this microphone. Thank you. So that was a quick rundown of what this video is about. It's on the other side what that video is about, and let me go into exactly why let me go into some of the comments. Here we go. So this is the first comment that I wanted to respond to. Let me pull it back up so you can see it. So it says, he wasn't saying that natural gas literally froze. He was saying that the distribution froze. That's because tanker trucks literally couldn't move on frozen and impassable roads. Now, this comment was talking about a part in the video in which I said that there was natural gas frozen in the pipes. I was saying that the governor said there was natural gas frozen in the pipes. And a lot of people who were out there who were astute said, well, hold on, natural gas freezes at like minus 300 degrees temperature. So natural gas couldn't have frozen in the pipes, no matter how it didn't get that cold. Yes, of course. I understand natural gas freezes at an extremely low temperature, a lot lower than what it was in Texas at that time. I was speaking in a hyperbolic manner when I did say the governor. I said the governor was saying things like, natural gas is frozen in the pipes. But I did play the clip of what the governor actually said. So if there was any confusion, I would just go with the governor said, because obviously he has more data than me sitting in my apartment in New York City. He knows what he has all the data, and he's saying the infrastructure froze for natural gas. So the government, the clip was in that video, but I thought it was funny how so many people were correcting me on the issue of natural gas freezing at like negative 300 degrees, negative 300 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. So it was like, well, yeah, but it was what it was. My wife got excited and wanted to say hello. Hey, what's going on? You're gonna get me in trouble with the wife now. I gotta make sure I didn't say that too loud. Like, what are you talking about? What? Somebody saying hi to me? All right. So here's the next comment. It says, now again, this is about this Texas thing. Let me go back to the screen and put it back up on the screen. This is about this Texas thing again. So this says, this is all BS. Here in California, we are one of the most regulated states, and we have rolling blackouts every summer. So now another comment came in. It says, Nate clearly hasn't heard of California. This is what happens when you make arguments based solely on political bias. This is a once in decade freak weather event. California has this problem every year. Now, when I first saw this comment, I was like, wow, it was the problem is the argument I was making was, yes, California has blackouts. Hell, other places have blackouts, right? During hurricanes, during other particular events. So the argument was not about whether regulations cause blackouts. The argument was that a simple regulation of forcing power companies to weatherize or utilities to weatherize against cold weather would have prevented this event. I think everyone understands that. That's the problem that's happening in Texas was because things froze because it was too cold. It wasn't weatherized. No matter what you think about wind turbines, people don't realize there are wind turbines in the Arctic, right? They're not freezing. They're designed to work in cold temperatures. Now, whether it was efficient because this thing happens once every 100 years, that's a whole nother issue. But that's what we're talking about. So California, even though it is regulated, their power grid is weatherized for cold weather. Texas is not. That's what we're talking about. So I think this comment kind of misses the argument that was being made in the video about weatherization. Again, the governor, this is not my argument. The governor is actually saying, Texas the utilities need to weatherize against cold weather. So the fact that California does have rolling blackouts, yes, but their blackouts are of something else. Something else is causing their blackouts. Their blackouts are not caused by their systems not being weatherized. That's what's happening in Texas. Let me head to the side chat to see if anyone wants to comment on that point. LOL, wow is right. Why does it have to be a blackout? All right, that's true. That's a pretty funny joke. Frozen wind turbines didn't mean shit in Texas. Someday it's not windy and the grid is fine. Some days it's not windy and the grid is fine. Interesting. We must have them we have them in Alaska. Yeah. And they're not freezing in Alaska. Right? The wind turbines, are not frozen. They don't work, right? If cold weather caused the wind turbines in Alaska to stop working, they would never work. We would be stuck there every day. So everyone understands. That's what we're talking about. So let me hit the next question. I'll keep saying question. The next comment. But again, for those who made these comments, thank you for the comments. But this is why I just disagree with this comment. The next comment says, this Texan is all about being prepared. This shouldn't have happened. Time to winterize our grid. Oh, and I'd prefer having our own. Totally agree. I think, I totally agree. The less government regulations you can have, I think the better. So I agree with that comment. A major problem with this question. My question is, should Texas regulate or should they not regulate? So this person says a major problem with that question is that it fails to quantify the problem as a means to judge the risk. What is the likelihood of failure with winterizing, given that such materials would be subject to normal Texas weather? Again, I totally agree. What is the cost of retrofitting? Well, to that question, I would say the other 47 states of the lower 48, there's lower 48 states. All those other states weatherize and can still provide power at a reasonable cost, right? That's most of you guys who are watching this are probably not in Texas. So if that's the case, then it can be done. I think the cost of retrofitting may be less, but we'll see. What is the cost benefit of grandfathering? Yes. What is the cost benefit of individuals prepping given likelihood of some type of infrequent risk like floods, fire, cold? Agreed. What would a shift towards nuclear electric generation be superior to the cost benefit analysis? I think it would. I think nuclear would definitely be better. I think, and I'm surprised. That's one of the things that confuse me about some of the Green New Deal people is about nuclear, because nuclear is zero carbon, right? Nuclear gives you the most bang for your buck. It's actually probably one of the more safer ones, and it's zero carbon. But it seems like a lot of the people who are concerned about climate change aren't really keen on nuclear. Now, would I want to live next to a nuclear power plant? No, but we have Indian Point here. That's far away. I think it can be done safe. I can think it can be done clean, but I don't know. I like nuclear power plants, but I think all of these are good questions. But I think when it comes down to cost benefit analysis, the person who's saying that they want the power companies to be forced to winterize is the governor. I want to make people. Let me see if I think I have the clip here of the governor. See, it's the governor. Here it is right here. The Texas governor, Greg Abbott, says lawmakers must require weatherization of power plants and pay for it, right? So the governor of Texas is the one saying, weatherize it, right? It's up to you guys. Get it done. So this is, I'm not saying nothing that the Republican governor of Texas, he's also saying. This is what he's talking about must require. They're just trying to be nice and say regulate. That's what require means, is we're regulating you. You must do this. You have no choice. That's what require weatherization means. So whatever goes into that, I'm thinking the governor has gone through the cost benefit analysis before he does this. And we're talking about a Republican governor too. This is not somebody who's pro regulation. He's talking about regulation. He's talking about public. He's talking about regulations. Madge says you can't make electric grid impermeable. That's a fact you can't deny. People need to prepare for their own family. Generators don't cost that much. It's funny because I have a friend that just moved to Florida. That's the first thing he did. He went out and bought a generator. And he's like, hey, when the power goes out, I know at least I got X amount of days. This, got to get more fuel. I know he said he was like the big issue now in Texas is starting to become the water though too, right? Because the water's starting to become an issue. So even if you do have your own generator, you still got a problem getting water to you because some of the pumps are out. But yeah, that's a very, very good point. It's a fact that you can't deny. People need to prepare for their own family. That's true. And generators don't really cost that much. That's a good point. But again, this is a once in 100-year storm now, right? Let's see what Laura says about nuclear. Nuclear is fine, but it must be strong federal regulations with funding projects that prevent cost cutting at the expense of safety. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. That's a very, very good comment. Passive system prevent explosion. We're now talking about nuclear power systems, huh? Who do I know who worked, in relation to some nuclear or something, naval something? I don't know, some guy. Nuclear regulated by the NRC. That's true. But Texas does have nuclear power plants. So they do have nuclear power plants. Let me go back to these comments. I think we touched on a couple of these. So this is somebody who said, dude, I've lived in PA New Jersey, a bunch of other places where I or a neighbor lost power, and sometimes for longer than we lost it here. I live in PA. Half of the town over lost power for over a week. This was a bigger area. This was a bigger area, yeah, but regulations didn't save lives there. So I would say this is every no power grid is perfect, right? This is the regulations don't make a perfect power grid, right? There are going to be outages in regulated power grids, right? There are going to be outages, there are going to be storms, power lines are going to go down. But the difference between a regulated power, the federally regulated ones, and the Texas one is that one requires your infrastructure to be weatherized, the other does not. And this was a cold weather storm that if the systems were weatherized, they wouldn't have had this problem. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a very unique situation, right? Pennsylvania, New Jersey, they're going to have power outages, right? The system, just because they're regulated, doesn't mean perfection. We know that, right? We got a whole political party who argues against regulations, right? That doesn't mean perfection. But we're talking about, but we're not talking about the systems, and we were talking about a very unique point, whether the regulation of being weatherized would have been value in this particular thing. Water isn't that hard to stock up on, too. Facts. I live in Northeast Texas, and honestly, and haven't had water since Monday, and power on and off since Monday. So they've been rolling with you, rolling blackouts. I still have plenty of supplies. It's not hard, people. That's true. That's a good public service announcement. But you know what? Most people depend on the system so much. It's like, what do they say? They were like, most people, if you drop them in the middle of a forest, would die in like 3 days or something like that, because they wouldn't be able to. They'd probably drink something or eat something they're not supposed to, or something would eat them or kill them. It's just, we're so dependent on the system that you're right. Most people just don't think that one day, if the water doesn't turn on for a week, can you make it? What happens when you call 911 and nobody can show up? But I mean, I do understand being prepared, but I do think there's such thing as being over prepared. But like here, I keep, we keep water too. So I also honestly think there's certain things that you should keep, especially if you're in areas like that. Like if I would, if I had my own home, I would definitely have a generator. That's just in case, especially if like I know we lived in Jersey, power lines would always go down. So we knew all the time that we'd lose power sometime because some tree fell on some branch, in some other township or something like that. So yeah, but again, I think it's like that other comment said. It's a balance. Let me see. This is one of those ones, if you build for a 100-year event, but again, look at the governor. He's saying, yeah, we got to make some changes. So at the end of the day, I hope this is another California rolling blackouts question. This one was saying about whether California, California also has rolling blackouts, but we answered that earlier. And this was a site I found that was talking about how, well, one, the blackout that they had in California, I think that this summer was like the first they had in 20 years or something like that. So they were, and that the fact that the blackouts in California were due to other things, not weatherization. The blackouts in California had nothing to do with weatherization of the infrastructure. So now let's go from, and again, for those people who are living in California, for this person, for Mad 8, let me put that comment back up there. For Mad 8, thanks for the super chat. God bless you people out there, and hopefully your power comes back on and the government does what they have to do. It's fun for us to talk, for theory, but you guys are actually living out there, living it. You know what I'm saying? So, it's glad you got power, and hopefully no matter what happens, this won't happen again, because 4 million people without power, for as long as you guys have gone out with it's unacceptable. And we got rovers now going on the moon, but we can't get your power in Texas when you got a snowstorm. This just doesn't make any sense. We can do better. All right, let me check the comment section real quick to make sure I'm not losing people here in the comments. Nobody tags me. I should make that a requirement. Tag me, tag me, tag me. Because it's hard just reading through the comments and not seeing any tags. But I'll come back to the comment section since everybody seems to be having a good time. Let's go to an impeach Cuomo. So this video, because I always gotta introduce the video. Hold on, let me go back here. See what I'm talking about. Here we go. So this video was obviously Andrew Cuomo's about them talking about impeaching him. Now there's been two investigations, actually like four investigations open by a federal investigation open in whether he gave the feds bad numbers. There are two state investigations going on here in the city, one from the Kings County District Attorney's Office, one from the Queens County District Attorney's Office. The state, what is it? The state legislature's investigating, and the Attorney General's investigating. So there's like investigations on top of investigations on top of investigations. That's what Cuomo's dealing with, and this all stems from him fudging the numbers of the nursing homes. Now, how did he do this? Now, initially, when things started happening, Cuomo gave an order, or the Cuomo administration gave an order that people with COVID had to be returned to nursing homes. But there's a caveat to that. Now to put that in context, this is at the beginning of the pandemic, right? Where there was where nobody really knew anything was going on. But we knew people were getting sick from this virus, right? We knew it was contagious. But we also had our hospitals being overrun. The hospitals here in New York City were being overrun. It was insane. So you had people in hospitals who didn't need to be in hospital. They were sick, right? They were sick. They had COVID, but you could remove them from hospitals, right? You couldn't keep them in hospitals. So what are you going to do? Do you send them home, or do you keep them in the hospital when or where do you send them? Where do you send them? So the first thing is, Cuomo, and not only Cuomo, it was like 12 other states, and the CDC actually gave it the blessing. They sent people back to nursing homes, right? You go to nursing homes. Now, the mentality is that, hey, these are nursing homes. They have staff who know PPE, with PPE and all that stuff, isolate patients, and they are supposed to be able to take care of these people. Again, before they can take a patient back, they have to say that, yes, we're going to take these patients back, so forth, so forth. Or we have the ability and the resources to take care of this patient properly. So they went back to nursing homes. Now, obviously, that was a mistake. So Cuomo, instead of coming forward and telling people the story that I just told you on why they made the decision to do it and what happened, and it was happened to be a bad decision, they then hid the numbers. Now, Cuomo hid the numbers because, as one of his top aides said, he didn't want the political fallout from Trump finding out that all these people died in nursing homes. So what did they do? They played this game where they said, we're going to just count where people died, not where they lived. So if you died in a nursing home, they counted that as a nursing home death. And if you died in the hospital, they counted as a hospital death. But they wouldn't say that you actually came from a nursing home. That was the problem. So eventually they found out the numbers, and eventually they found out what the right numbers were. And long story short, now we got investigations out of the thing. Cuomo has now starting to threaten people. It's just been insane. So that's what really happened. So now that video simply was about that issue. So here's some comments that people who didn't like my take or didn't really understand why Cuomo was being impeached or being threatened to be impeached. With I think next week they're doing the hearings or something like that. I forget, there's some meeting or something like that to try to impeach Cuomo, which is insane, right? He's supposed to be the governor who wrote the book on how to handle COVID, and now they're talking about impeaching him. How far can you fall in 2 months? Cuomo deserves jail. It's insane. Well, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to take the political hit. So here's the first thing that people were hammering me about. Now this was here a lot. This was about the comfort ship, right? The comfort, the ship and the Javits Center. Now, for those of you who don't know, at the beginning of the pandemic, we here in New York we needed more hospital space. Now, in New York, for instance, we have this is crazy. We have something like what's the population of the state of New York? State of New York is like 19, I think 19 million. NY population. I feel like it's such a dummy. 19.5. So there's 19.5 million people in the state of New York, but there are only 53,000 hospital beds. So we're not talking about, a million. We're talking about 53,000 hospital beds for 19 million people. Now, that is a very small amount of hospital beds in the state of New York. And they were thinking that they're going to need like 150,000 beds in the city of New York alone. So that's why when COVID first started, like places like China were building field hospitals because you just needed people to recover needed to be in hospitals. So at the beginning, that's where the comfort ship comes in. The comfort ship comes in, and at the beginning of the pandemic, the comfort ship actually did not take COVID patients. What was supposed to happen with the comfort is that comfort was supposed to take just regular patients to alleviate the regular hospital stays. So if somebody was in a car accident, they wouldn't go to a regular hospital. They would go to the comfort ship. And if somebody had COVID, all the COVID patients would go to the hospitals. So it's funny because at one point there was almost no patients other than COVID in the hospitals. So like the comfort, it was like they didn't have anybody down there, and they were like, "Why isn't anybody coming?" It's like because everybody's locked down at home, and the only patients that we have are COVID patients. So then the comfort started taking COVID patients eventually, and then you had the Javits Center. But people forget that New York State is a huge state, right? It's a huge state. It's like you can. If you go, I think you can go up to the Canadian border. It's like 6 hours away. New York is a huge state from downstate where we're at all the way up to like the Canadian border. That's a huge way. So you have people all over this massive state. It's not like you can just say you throw these people on ambulances and bring them down to the comfort. That's in Manhattan. That's a pretty crazy. It's the equivalent of like traveling across 3 or 4 states up here in the Northeast. You're talking about some serious mileage you're putting on, right? So it's just not feasible to send all those patients to the comfort. Now, if you're in the city, yeah, I think if you're in the city and the surrounding areas, where you can get to the place in maybe an hour or something like that. But people are talking about they can use the ship like for everywhere in New York, like we are in the same town or something like that. No, there's places 6 hours away. That's a 12-hour round trip. Who's going to bring them down? We're talking about all those patients too. We're not talking about 1 or 2 patients. We're talking about all the patients from the whole state of New York. It's just unreasonable. So I understand we did have the comfort shit, and that could have helped for some of those cases, some of the cases here in the city where it was located at. But for the full state of New York, that just is not, there's an unreasonable to think that ship and the Javits Center could have. Now they did have field hospitals some other places too, but it's just unreasonable to think that the entire state of New York could have sent their people to that field ship. It just doesn't work that way. COVID was much worse downstate too. That's true. But again, we're talking about statewide because this was a statewide issue, and 98% of the what's it called? 98% of the long-term care facilities had COVID in them anyway. So it was already there. So his order didn't actually do it, but he did lie about it, and he did mislead people on the numbers. Let's just be very clear. They misled people. It's not even like they didn't. They admitted they misled people. I don't know. If anybody wants to argue that they didn't, then you're saying Cuomo's a liar because they're the one that's saying it. Here's the next one. I've seen presidents get impeached for less. Argumentative, but I don't know. It's an interesting question. I think the last one, that one I got to think about a little bit more. But I put it up because I thought it was cute. It says Cuomo murdered people. He murdered people. He should be in jail. Screw that he lied about it. The people in those nursing homes stood a chance if they were not packed like rats with COVID. Scandal. Cover up. No, murder. I don't get, when I saw the comment, I was like, maybe I don't know how you get murder. This is just him really not reporting numbers correctly. I don't know how he, I won't go murder. Now that's a little far from me. But did I think he did a bad thing? Yes, he covered up. So the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So let go, Cuomo. Too bad. Thanks, Isaac. Too bad his brother's not going to interview him. Right? How good a job are you doing? I'm doing a great job, brother. I'm doing a great job. That's journalism at CNN, people. Journalism at CNN. This is a interesting comment, Nate. The order was to take positive patients only if they could do it safely by implementing the appropriate management procedures. Facts. That's state law. You hint at this elsewhere, but it really needs to be stated directly from the start. Otherwise, your analysis is spot on. The policy wasn't a bad idea, although poorly implemented by some of the facilities which were outside of Cuomo's control. Also, most of the infections in nursing homes were from staff to patient and not patient to patient. And they already had positive patients anyway. So the policy is unlikely to have contributed to the case rate much. But the cover-up is still a huge problem. And the worst part of it is that the inability of the cover-up to get conflated with the policy itself, which people then use to suggest that Democrats were incompetent as Republicans. Now, as to the last sentence, I'll let you guys take that. But I think this is a fair assessment. I think this is a fair assessment of, yes, the cover up, the lies. You can't. It just is what it is. But unless people can really, I would just say this. I'm not sympathetic at all to the lies, the cover up, and all that stuff. No, he's wrong. But I've not heard anyone, or anytime I've challenged anyone to say, all right, what else would you have done other than send people back home from hospitals in that position? Now, I've heard Comfort, I've heard Javits, I've heard send them to some other places. Yes, true, great. But, otherwise, what are the other options, I don't know, what are the other options? Maybe I don't know. It's interesting. It's, because now you have, people, I think if you think about it hard enough, what are your other options? I think your options are limited. Unless you're going to put people in hotel rooms, and then what about outbreaks there? And you now having that staff, it's, I don't know. It's an interesting question. Or, where are you going to get the money to afford it? Because now they need the money. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit more complex, but I do think the two can be separated. Let me hit the chat to see if anybody's tagged me in anything. Have a good night, everybody. All right. Take care, Angelica. No, nobody's tagged me in anything. All right. Nobody got any questions for me. Just hear me screaming to the wind, huh? Oh, here we go. Nate the lawyer. Do you think all the truck nuts hanging off the bumpers in Texas shrunk? Oh, was it shrunk in the cold? I don't know. I have some good friends down there in Texas. Hands moist thunder nipples. I have some good friends down there in Texas. I contacted a whole bunch of them, just making sure they're all right. A couple of them had their power turned off. I know Drag, he showed me the apocalypse, so but he's okay. But it's interesting because a lot of people said it's not as bad as the news media is making out as they're like Escape from New York down there, or those movies Escape from New York, Escape from LA. But he said it's not where they're at. It's not like that. Maybe like that in some other areas though. So New York, the number of beds in the population is just 0.3%. I think it's even less than that. I think it's like 2.9 beds for every 1,000 citizens or something like that. I know it's like something sickly really low. Yeah. So, but again, where do you send those people to? Where do you send them to? So that's that's the Cuomo rant. Let me see what else we got from goodness. But thanks again, Laura. Let me see what they got here. Let me pull this back up. All right. See if we got some more comments. This one says disagree with me. It's about deaths in nursing homes. I disagree with that. I think it is about. Well, let me clarify. I do think it's about deaths in nursing homes, but I think it's about the cover up, not about actually what happened. If people know what happened, I think we wouldn't be talking about it today. I think it's the fact the cover up. He's getting caught with the cover up. COVID patients to nursing homes to infect the most vulnerable. So this person is saying that Cuomo went in to infect. He sent people back to the nursing homes to infect people in order to manipulate statistics. See, this I just respectfully disagree with. Now you're talking about intent. He did it to infect these people purposefully. I'm sorry, I'm just not with it. You got to show me like evidence of this type of malice. This is like, this is saying a lot. This is saying a lot. It's saying a lot. This you need evidence for. You need more evidence than this. This is a friend of mine actually said this. I am still shocked that CNN allowed his brother to be the primary interviewer of Cuomo. That would never have been allowed in my former newsroom. And that's true. And that's whatever happened to journalism, right? Whatever happened to journalism. Like they literally got it was like a big thing, right? When Chris Cuomo was interviewing his brother, two brothers are here, but what happened to asking the tough questions, right? Journalism 101, What's up with these nursing homes? Why the numbers look all messed up? It's gonna be hard for his brother to ask him that. It's gonna be hard. Next thing you know, he's gonna be calling him Fredo. Like, hey, Fredo, oh my God. You said a name worse than a black man. Oh my God, Nate! I asked you to watch Dan Crenshaw. You didn't, obviously. Still talking fiction. Get the fact. I heard. Didn't Crenshaw? Well, I'm not sure. I thought Crenshaw. What is he saying? That I'm saying. I don't know. I'm saying what the governor's saying. I don't know if Crenshaw. If this is about the Texas thing, I'm saying what the governor's saying. The governor's saying something. The power company is saying something. I'm saying what they're saying. So I don't know if Dan Crenshaw is saying something different, then I disagree with Dan Crenshaw. I'm saying what the governor's saying. I can even play it. Like, I got the receipts for that. I know. Let me know. Dan Crenshaw's podcast. We gotta watch some. You gotta let me know what to watch because I'll watch it. Because if Dan Crenshaw is saying something different than the governor and the power company, I'd like to hear it. If we're talking about the Texas thing too, I'm assuming we're talking about the Texas thing. All right, let me get back to this. Let me hit you. Let's go with Amy Cooper. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is the Central Park Karen, who my friend, and for most of the people who watch this should know who Robert Barnes is. Robert Barnes is the guy who's going to be on tomorrow night with Viva at 7:00. You got to definitely watch their show. It's fantastic stuff. Even though I think Barnes is a little outrageous sometimes with the whole ED doesn't believe in standing. It's like, what? You don't believe in standing? That's like in every case, in every court, in every part of the country. But no, he's the one who represented Central Park Karen. So, hey, Nate the Lawyer Navy, what's up? Nate the Lawyer, why is your channel so awesome? Thank you, Sinister Porpoise. You guys. Now I'm seeing my name being tagged and throwing me off. So let's talk about the Central Park Karen case. Robert Barnes is representing Central Park Karen. Now, as you guys know, I was an ADA in New York for a short period of time. Now, before I became an official ADA, I interned in 2 other offices, right? So I was an ADA. I interned. Now, when I was there, If you had someone come in who was arrested, who had no criminal history, absolutely done nothing wrong, this was their first ever interaction, this was on a misdemeanor, right? For something like filing a false police report, that case is very not likely going to trial. That person is going to plead out to something like a violation or maybe get an adjournment with contemplation of dismissal. Why? Because people make mistakes, right? Now, that's generally the way it goes. I know there's a lot of people who are not upset with this. She should have went to jail. This person could have been killed. I understand it. I understand the pain. I understand the racial component to the whole Karen story. I'm with you. I'm with you. But legally, right? I don't think you could treat this woman differently that you would treat anyone else in this situation, right? If you're saying if and that's what this case was simply about. That's what this was about. Is that she did something that, right or wrong, no matter how you feel about it, was punished in this particular way. And this was someone who made one mistake, and the criminal justice system is not set up to destroy someone on one mistake. It just is not. That's just not what they do. So no matter what you think about this, now obviously there's degrees of that, right? With the situation, different situations versus murder versus traffic violation. But the system is generally very forgiving for a first-time offender on a misdemeanor charge that is unlikely to reoffend, right? That's how the system looks, and that just makes sense, right? That just makes sense. So this is like your one chance. You get one shot. This happens a lot of times with marijuana ACDs. Somebody get caught marijuana, it's misdemeanor, but you give the person an ACD, don't do it again. If you get caught again, then we'll have a little more. Then you'll may have to plead to a violation or something like that versus just getting a free walk. Let me get the super chat out, Mr. Nate. Your channel seems to have momentum. Runaway freight train. Why are you so popular? I don't know, uncivil law, brother. But it's good to see you up. It's good to see you talking with me tonight. Thanks again for checking me out. That's my brother Uncivil Law, who I just talked about earlier. He's up a little late. Usually these guys like sleeping at this time. So that is really the Central Park Karen story, right? A lot of people are upset that she didn't get more time. So this video was just simply laying out why she got what she did. Why she got a walk, more or less. She did 5 little sessions, and that was it. So these comments are about this video and how people feel about the facts about this video. So again, the names and everything have been removed for the protection of the people who are not mentioned, but their comments are public, and you just check out the words. But the names have been removed. Protection of the public. So here's one. So it's obviously no one going to address the fact that she nearly choked her dog out to death in that interaction. Is that animal abuse? Now when you do watch the video, I think this is funny because when you do watch the video, you do see like when she's holding the dog, the dog is like really being choked. Even like the dog even coughs a couple of times out there. So yeah, I just thought this is funny. This is unbelievable. Nate the lawyer, I admit to lacking perspective on the most racial complaints. Or is that radical? The radical complaints. I put racial. I think there is racial. I don't know what is wrong. Racial. The racial complaints. But if the man had not videoed her making the false complaint, how would the police call have played out? I don't know why I couldn't read that. How would the police call have played out? I don't know. Unfounded. I've had a couple of these before. But again, I wasn't in NYPD. But you get these complaints. You just, it's usually, where's the guy? Did he go this way? Are you hurt? What happened? Blah, 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 blah. You might make a report, but something like that. You just, the person walks away. You're never not gonna, I'm just looking for a man who's had harsh words with me. What exactly did he say? If she's truthful and honest, if she says, that interaction, then probably nothing's going to happen. To be honest with you, because it's not really, there's really nothing there. But I don't know. I'm assuming that yeah, it'll probably just go down as unfounded. This one is the next comment is Amy Cooper didn't stage a hate crime on herself, though. This was me making the comparison to Jussie Smollett. I understand your point about the decision for dismissal for the first officer, for the first offender, but still, finding and paying two people to fake an attack on you to profit from anti-racist sympathy, plus letting police force get focused on finding fake attackers for several days, that should have gone to trial. So this was another anti-Jussie Smollett. When Jussie Smollett planned his nonsense, I had to prosecute the hell out of him. Cooper, I had to give a pass. And so before we get to the mens rea one, so this was funny because one thing about the Jussie Smollett. Now, in the video, I did make a mention. Now, I was using the comparison not to say that both Jussie Smollett and I was making the comparison about what happened at the end, right? The disposition of the case, right? Jussie Smollett, essentially what he had done was make a false police report. This happened to me, which was false. And they treated it that way, right? Okay, since the police since the police had to investigate it, give up your bond, $10,000, do this community service. And since you're a first-time offender and this is a misdemeanor, we're going to, treat you just like we treat everyone else who does this. We'll give you a dismissal for you not to do it again. Fine. That's essentially the same thing that happened with Amy Cooper. This happened. She made the first phone call. Then she made a second phone call. It was a false complaint. He didn't threaten to attack her. He didn't threaten to kill her. Right? That just was not true. So when she made the false complaint, they said, well, we're going to you go to these racial sensitivity classes and we'll drop the charges. That's what happened there. So I think a lot of people, I do understand that the situations, those facts on those two situations are different. But the whole, it's like people are saying like this is premeditated filing a false police report. It's like they're both misdemeanors. It's like if they could have, I think if they could have charged him with more, they would have. But at the end of the day, filing a false police report is what it is. Is what it is. Filing a false police report is someone who's filing a police report that is false. And that's essentially what both of them were charged with, and that's essentially what both of them pleaded to. And that's essentially why both of them got the same disposition, identically. So that was the whole point of the Jussie Smollett thing. Not to say that the way they did their crimes were the same, but just the disposition of those crimes were the same because of their unique position of being first-time offenders on misdemeanor charges. That's why, and have some celebrity status. Let me go here. They're talking about the mens rea for this one was talking about mens rea, the act. But again, it's like if someone steals something, how do you prove the mens rea that they intended to keep it? That type of thing. Sometimes mens rea could be proven within the act. And then you start talking about what a reasonable person would have done in that situation too. Would they say these things? Would they say that somebody is threatening them when the person's not threatening them? What was the motive for that? So sometimes you can get intent through motive, but I think here it's clear because she said something that she knew wasn't true. You know what? Let me do this. Let me go back to the video because there's one part. Let me see if I have it here. There's one comment here. How was it a false report? Mr. Cooper did make a threat, which she identified in his Facebook post. Did Amy Cooper overreact? Probably, but it's difficult to understand the state of her mind, right? So I just want to be clear. There were some of these let me go here. There were some of these comments that were interesting. The one said that Mr. Cooper tried to kill her dog, but he was going to try to poison her dog, which I didn't get. There was another one. So one was saying they tried to poison her dog. Mr. Cooper, he tried to poison her dog. The second one said that he threatened her. And the third one said that he tried to kill the dog, right? So one, he was trying to murder the dog. Two, he was trying to poison the dog. And three, that he threatened her directly. So those were the three things, right? So I want to play. I want to all just to play the clip of the video of her and his interaction, because I think that would hopefully clear up a lot of this confusion, because it seems like people are confused about what happened. So, just to let me do this. Where is this? I'm going to make sure I still have this up. I'm gonna screen share this with you. Cooper, I want to screen share his post from Facebook. Cooper. Facebook. I want to show you his Facebook messages. Central Park Karen. I want to show you his Facebook messages. On the post. Facebook. Here it is. Let me share this with you. Live TV. So let me get the super chat before I move to the. I'd be angry. I'd be angry too if I took a Q-tip with a huge up my nostril. Poor Cuomo. Yeah. Cuomo's in trouble, my friend. Cuomo's in trouble. But he did it to himself, though. I got no love for that cat. He did it straight to himself. Check this out. This is Chris Cooper. I'm going to the New York Post, which I love. New York Post is like got it going on nowadays. All right, so this is the New York Post. Let me make this bigger so you guys can see it. All right, let me take myself off to make it even bigger. So I wanted to actually read what, like, they have his Facebook post here. So I wanted to read what he said. So here's the part. Now, this is before the video. So before the video starts, before he starts filming, this is their interaction. And this is Chris Cooper giving this interaction on Facebook, I believe. So he says, me, Chris Cooper. All you have to do is to take him to the other side of the drive, outside the ramble, and you can let him run off the leash all you want. So again, they're in a part of the park that you can't have your dog off the leash. She has her dog off the leash, and he's saying, well, you can take him right over there and you'll be legal. But this is what she said. It's too dangerous. And he says, look, if you're going to do what you want, I'm going to do what I want. But you're not going to like it. Threatening? You decide. Her. What's that? Me. To the dog. Come here, puppy. It would scare me. It'd make me feel afraid for my animal. Just saying. Her. He won't come to you. Me. We'll see about that. Again, how, someone's saying this to you, you're having this interaction. Let's be fair and put ourselves in her shoes. Before adding, now this is before he added, pull out the dog treats. I pull out the dog treats I carry for judge such in transgressions. So he's carrying around now. I'm gonna say it. Is it kind of weird that he's carrying around dog treats and don't have a dog? Not saying he did anything wrong here, but I think the guy's got an issue about against people with their dogs off the leash. He's carrying, I don't have a dog. I don't carry around dog treats. But maybe he just has a problem. Maybe he's got a problem with other people who's going, they're always in a ramble with the dogs. So he carries around dog treats to mess with people. Like, I don't know. But I didn't even get a chance to toss any treats to the pooch before Karen scrambled to grab the dog. So I'm thinking at this point in time, how would I feel if that was my dog and this guy is about to throw treats at my dog? I would feel some way about it. I'm just saying, I would feel a little roughed up about it. It wouldn't be like we was just having a regular conversation, right? Now, don't get me wrong. He could be, joking around or whatever, but, it just got to the point now. He has gotten her to do what he wanted to put your dog on the leash because, it is with the law. So there's a little back and forth. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where you're borderline, where you are borderline. But I don't think at any time you can make the thing that he threatened her, right? He didn't threaten her, but the dog hates you. Okay, it makes me uncomfortable. But now let's continue on. So then, so then, she screams out, "Don't touch my dog." That's when I started recording my iPhone. When the inner Karen fully emerged and took the dog turn. Okay, so they are there. He's told us about the interaction. I feel a little funny about it. I'm like, all right, it's a little funny. But now she's put the dog on a leash. Supposedly everything is okay. So right, and he never threatened her. He was threatening with the dogs, right? Threaten the dogs, threaten the dog a little bit. Come here, Pooch. I can do whatever I want. Don't with the treat and everything. Never threw the dog a treat though. Never threw the dog a treat. And just was sitting there, right? So nobody. Are you listening? That's not reasonable. Even Nate said he'd feel some type of way about it. It was creepy. Not defending her either way. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just, we're here. Now, I'm saying at that point in time, that issue's done, right? The threat, there's no threat to the dog. She's got the dog on the leash. So now, let's move forward. So now we're going to the video. Dog is off. Dog is on a leash. That part of the thing is over. We're going to move now to our next video of the actual incident. Because people are saying that he was trying. Now, again, I don't think he was trying. He's not carrying around poison treats because a lot of people were saying that he tried to poison a dog. If you got evidence he tried to poison a dog, speak now or forever hold your peace. Because I don't see no evidence of him trying to poison no dog. Right? That's not in there. That's his account. Right? She didn't say anything about this. So I don't know what people getting that he tried to poison the dog and all this other stuff. That's just out of control. This is borderline stuff, but there's nowhere where I think anybody can get he poisoned, he tried to poison the dog. I just don't get that from here, right? He carrying around dog treats is a little weird in its own stuff, but nowhere in here do I get he tried to poison the dog. So that's fake news. You'll see that there's a lot of comments about poison of dogs. No poison of dogs or nothing that I've seen here that would lead me to here's something. Was an implied threat to poison a dog? Nah, I think you're stretching there. I think this guy carries around dog treats and does this all the time, but I don't think there's no threat. If he said, I'm gonna go kill your dog, yeah, he's a poison treat or something like that, but I don't know. To just jump to him poisoning a dog, I think it's a little, I think dog treats isn't that weird. Well, if you don't have a dog, if I don't have a dog, I'm not carrying around dog treats. Or I don't even, dogs don't even come to my house. I'm gonna have dog food in here. It would be weird for me. It wouldn't be weird for anybody else. Nate the lawyer. Well, how's she supposed to know that the treats? No. I'm agreeing. I don't know how she's supposed to know if the treats are good or not. But I'm just saying, the whole poison thing. I don't get that from here. I think that's facts, not an evidence. That's just somebody just I think just because you have a fear, that means nothing to me. It's that reason. What's the and he didn't even give her a dog treat, right? And I think trying to poison dogs is illegal too. Trying to poison someone's dog is illegal. So again, if people say they have that information, I've not seen anything even close to saying that. I don't know where that came from, but there's no poison of any dogs here. So that incident is over. Let's go to the videotape because that seems like that just seems like we just got to get to the next level. We got to see the video. Now, this is somebody who, again, and we'll get to hear the call too. So let's just be clear on what we hear with the call. We're going to hear the call. Where is it at? Responding to comments. I think it's this one. Yeah. We don't want to do this one. Let's do this one. All right. So here it is. Share audio too, so we can all hear it. Let's blow this up. Max this out. All right, here we go.
Please don't come close to me. Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Would you please stop? Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take a photo.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking pictures going to the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African American man threatening my life.
Please.
Now, up until this point, again, his own testimony, and now does this look like a woman who is being threatened by this man to the point where he's threatening her life? At no point did he say, or even she even say, that he threatened her life. No point in any of the videos that you see he threatened her life. That's just made up, right? That's just made up. And look how calmly she's making the 911 call, right? I don't know. It doesn't seem to me. So her saying he threatened my life, right? He's threatening my life. I don't know. Sounds like a false police report to me, right? This guy's she's so threatened that she can stand there. Matter of fact, she charged him, right? She charged him, right? He had to say, yo, step back. She was so threatened, she charged him. He had to tell her to step back, right? Step back, relax. I don't know. I think that, yeah, I do think this is tale of two carrots. You know, yeah, that is kind of, that's a bit of a little carrot with the whole, you know, dog leash thing, you know, carrying. That's a little, yeah. But let's just be clear. If you got the evidence that this man threatened this woman's life, because that's what the phone call is, a black man is an African-American man is threatening my life, not threatening the dog, not talking mean to me. He threatened my life. And I just rushed up on him. Right? Is that what we see here? I don't know. I'm just, you know. And she choking a dog too. She's so threatened that she choking out the dog. But let's continue.
Tell them whatever you like.
Now, this is a woman, again, she's life-threatening fear. He's threatened her life. She's looking through contacts, choking a dog like nothing.
Excuse me?
Like, do we have to even watch anymore? Do we have to watch anymore? I don't know. I'm just, you know. I think she filed a false police report, guys. She filed a false police report. Let's see what she tells the cops. This is pretty terrifying.
I'm sorry, I'm in the ramble, and there is a man, African American, who has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. And my. I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please send the cops immediately. I'm in Central Park in the ramble. I don't know.
So listen, I don't know. It sounds like a fake police report to me. But again, people make mistakes. And I think she made one, right? I think she made one. Now, I'll even give you this. This I would forgive, right? This I don't even think she should be arrested for, right? Things got a little heated. I could even forgive this one to say, okay, things were a little heated. You got a guy, he's talking about giving treats to the dog. You're a little nervous. You're there alone, you know? You're there alone with this guy, a woman, and, you know, this is not an attack dog she got with her. You know, this dog is ready to go. Dog is ready to leave now. You know what I'm saying? The dog is ready to go now. So I could even understand those optics. But then she makes a second call. And that's where I think you lose me. The second call loses me. But again, we all saw it. It just is what it is. Let's get back to the comments. Let me throw us back to the comment section. Here we go. All right, just out of curiosity, there was no consequences for premeditation. Yeah, see, this is premeditation of filing a false police report. I would like to know, like, has anybody, like, for this misdemeanor, for filing a false police report, if you plan it a week before, you do it that same day, I don't think that there's a difference to it. I understand that it feels worse, right? But I'm not sure there's a legal distinction, because there's some crimes where it doesn't matter if you do it premeditated or not, or some violations, if you premeditate the speed, for instance, speeding, which is a violation, if you premeditate the speed, or you do it in the moment, does it matter? If the courts find out, you're probably more likely to pay your fine or something like that. But if you admit it, but it's just, I don't know. The law doesn't really make that distinction whether you meant to do it or whether it was done not really by accident, but the culpable mens rea state in this particular thing. I think the intent here. I think the intent here is when she filed the false police report. What does she have to do? It's not even negligently, right? This has to be something like almost what is it? What would her mens rea have to be here? I have to look it up. I would have to look it up, because it would have to be something like intentionally filing a false police report. You would have to prove that she knew what she was doing was false, and I would think by that tape, that's probably how they can prove it. It's an interesting question. I never thought of it that way. Like, what would be the acceptable mental state? But I don't think there's any distinction between premeditating filing a false and whether you do it recklessly or whether you intentionally do it. Because in both situations, you're filing a false police report. That's the crime. I have to look it up. Interesting legal question. Seems reasonable in both cases. Others may disagree, but reasonable people often disagree. I agree with this. They are similar, but Jesse Smollett's case, there was a clear premeditation of intent. Yeah, see, again, I'm not sure that premeditation matters. And for misdemeanor filing a false police report, if you do it, yes, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters whether for whether if they charge you or not. The lady was just being stupid. No, because I'm thinking there's got to be situations where people file false police reports, and because I can think of a couple right now. Like I know there was one time where there was someone who wanted to take a test, and it was filing a false police report, but they called in a bomb threat. So they got that person for filing a false police report, but that person knew that they were taking a test on said day. They actually planned it out, but that person still got the same treatment as everyone else. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting question. So this is talking about Jesse Smollett case, which I do think was different. But I still, at the end of the day, you're still talking about two first-time offenders for that particular crime. Honestly, I think she should have gotten a month in jail for lying to the officers, creating a dangerous situation for Mr. Cooper when he's not threatening her at all. No, I think this is too lefty in terms of he's carrying dog treats and he has no dog. He's telling her dog to come to him. They're alone in the ramble, right? In a park. They're alone in the park. He's saying, "Yeah, come here, dog. I got treats for a dog. Where's your dog? I don't have a dog, but I got dog treats." That would freak me out. I'm sorry. But I think at a point that I do think the conversation did turn. I'm not going to lie. That would freak me out. If that was my dog, I just know even though I don't have a dog, if I did have a dog, I would have kind of felt a little way about it. His tone may have been off-putting when he asked her to put the dog on a leash. But he did a little bit more than that initially. But in his defense, So we know where this person's coming from. In his defense, he didn't know if the dog was friendly or dangerous. So why would you call the dog over? I don't know. Doesn't matter if he wasn't the biggest of dogs. If he was dangerous and Mr. Cooper had gotten bitten, it would have been a much bigger issue than the microaggression associated with Mrs. Cooper lying about being attacked by him. I don't know. But I appreciate this comment. And as you guys can see, I get it from both sides, right? This is somebody. Now, I disagree with this comment because I honestly, with this situation, right? This, I would have been happy if she wouldn't have got arrested at all. And I would have been happy, and I'm happy with what happened now, right? Because at this point in time, this is somebody screaming, two people screaming at each other in the park. I think he's taking it too far by, put the dog on a leash. She says no, she gives him some lip. So what? You're in a ramble, walk, keep it moving. So what, right? You're not a cop, pulling out dog treats. You're going, you're going super person. So you do that, whatever. I think she goes a little too far when she gets the dog on the leash, and now she's like, "Oh, don't film me. Now you don't got the right to film me." No, he has the right to. He can film whatever he wants, and I think she loses that right to this whole self-defense argument, this whole "I'm in fear of the man" argument, when she tries to rush him, when she approached him, right? When she rushed him and approached him and started telling him what to do, put the camera down, don't do this. He's got to tell her, "Get back off me. Get back. Get back. You're invading my personal space." That was anti-COVID. She was, that wasn't 6 feet apart. She was making, then that calm, relaxed, no threats toward her. At no time did he say, "I'm going to F you up," or do anything like that to you. Her thing is, he's calling to attack me. Ugh. I don't know. To me, I think, do I think this could have been handled differently, or do I think this is a big nothing burger? Yes. But the facts are what they are, and I think we gotta look at the facts. We gotta look at the facts, and the facts are he didn't threaten her, and the facts also are that I just want to hear somebody make the argument that carrying dog treats and you don't got a dog to the park every day is something that they do. Now, no, somebody in the chat say they did that, carry around dog treats with them. I don't know. That's just something that's just not that's, I don't know. Is anybody else out there, who carry dog treats around who don't have a dog? Is that like people's thing? Is it like, am I missing something? Is it like a thing? I don't know. I don't do it. I don't have a dog. Oh, Mary, you do, huh? I hope you're speaking to me. I'm shouting you out now. Nobody. You carry dog treats around? No dog? Huh. You got two. Damn, I got to check out, what the hell's going on. Nate the lawyer, it's a Smollett, a larger ball of yarn in the public eyes. And the social impact has a higher chance of aggravate social groups. I recognize everyone is responsible for themselves. Yeah, I do think, well, to be fair too, Smollett is now what he's charged again. Right? He's charged again with like 6 counts. So they're going to trial with that. He just lost a hearing. So Smollett's still not out of the woods. So he may go, Smollett may go to jail. They prosecute Smollett, but we'll see. Eric, from what I understand, there's an issue between the bird and dog watchers. People may carry the treats to distract dogs for safety. So, yes, I didn't even think about that, but that makes sense. Yes. So if you're a bird, yes, people carry dog treats, for safety. I like it. See, ask and you shall receive. Uniblake, everyone that runs into dogs with a leash often carry treats. You see, there's a reasonable explanation. Every mail carrier, UPS, FedEx, and people that spend lots of time in public parks. You see? Fact checked on screen. That makes sense. That's why he has dog treats. And the dog treats weren't poisoned. So we get over the dog treats weren't poisoned too, right? Because that was like the big thing too. The dog treats were poisoned. So The dog treats were not poison. So, I don't know how this makes you feel about the whole Central Park Karen. I think at the end of the day, the right thing happened. Justice Smollett, we'll see what happens at his trial, because he's back in trial. So these weren't disposed of the same way at the end of the day. But I think, I know that a lot of people saying this is not justice, this is white privilege. I don't think it's any of that. I think that's a lot of people who don't know how the criminal justice system works. Because again, you're talking about someone who has an impeccable record, first time ever being in a court for anything, for any type of criminal issue. Really, you're talking about going to trial and sitting in jail for filing a false police report. That wouldn't have been justice. That's something else. But she's been publicly ridiculed, publicly shamed. I think this woman's been punished enough. It's going to be hard for her to find another job. Nate, what's your favorite type of dog? Of dog, big dog. I don't know. I was like Cocker Spaniels. I had one when I was a kid. Yeah. And what was it? Who was Lassie? I used to like Lassie, the Lassie types too. Yeah, and she lost her job. Yeah, that's tough. Nate the Lawyer, I'm going to bed. Have a good stream. I'll donate when I can afford. Hey, no need to donate. Just spend some time here. Listen to me ramble on, and I appreciate you just stopping by. Kali. But yeah, take easy, and thanks for stopping by. And thanks for stopping by, everybody. I hope I answered all your questions. I hope I enlightened you on some things of my thinking. And again, if I'm wrong about anything, put it in the chat, right? If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Don't let me go out here and continue to be stupid. I'd rather be right. I'm capable of saying I messed up. Go watch my Michael Flynn video, right? I was the one saying Michael Flynn pleaded guilty until I found out about Rafiki. And I was like, oh my God, why did he plead guilty? He was an idiot, right? Go watch that, But I think it's not about, for me, it's not about being perfect and being right all the time. It's about understanding that I make mistakes and being right the next time. So with that said, Nate the Lawyer, enjoy the stream. Have a good night. Thank you, and good night to you. You guys, everybody has a wonderful night. Thanks for all those who donate. Thanks for all those who stop by. And at the end of the day, treat each other well. My name is Nate the Lawyer. I'm out.